You're joking, right?
Well, I'm trying to be hopeful. I'm trying to be optimistic about that.
Well, I guess you're too young to be a little pessimistic like me. The fucking things I see out there, people are stupid.
All right, so
what's going on?
We had slight
Brian?
technical
That's all right.
difficulties.
What's
Just for
happening?
we recorded a minute of a podcast and then realized it wasn't recording. So
Why even say that?
that's a lost minute that the people will never
we're gonna
get.
we're gonna redo it. Why even say
So,
it?
Dad, how are you? No,
What's going on, Brian?
Because we're real with the people. What do you mean?
No,
We're real.
I love our people. What's
I
going on?
was telling Dad that I ran into a listener this past week. I was walking through Brickell and I had my headphones in, and I told you I don't wear
What kind
AirPods.
is it big headphones or no?
No, earbuds, because I don't wear
The ones
AirPods.
with the plug with the wire.
Okay. Because they're probably bad for us. Who knows? But
Which reminds me, I need your help ordering stuff. I got to get new running ones. I need ones that go
Okay.
over the ear because my bows fall out.
okay.
All right.
So I'm walking in Brickell. It's like the kind of neighborhood where there are a lot of, like, every time you walk through, there's actually two.
Hey, will you
things.
sign this petition? Go ahead.
So there's actually, I'm going to add to the story now. I'm going to evolve. The story's evolving. So there's actually two kinds of, there's actually a lot of people that are there, and like a lot of tourists that are just,
It is a city.
but there's like a lot of tourists that are just standing around. So it's like kind of annoying to walk through sometimes. But then now a new thing is you either get those like Planned Parenthood or like homeless people, who are like, hey, can you sign this petition? Can you check this out? So those people I always ignore. I just walk straight through, like, oh, sorry, I have my headphones and I can't hear you. And then there's now a new thing, which I'm sure a lot of people have seen, is like people filming TikToks. So they're like there with the cameraman, and they're there to either prank you or to ask you a question that's going to elicit some funny response.
Everybody wants to be famous.
And so you walk through Brickell on a weekend night, forget about it.
Seriously.
You're at every corner. There's another guy
Terrible.
trying, and everyone knows what I'm talking about because you see them all over TikTok. There's like one guy who he just goes up to hot girls and he asks them like kind of sexual questions a little bit. There's so many of them. So I always am trying to just dodge those guys because they're just terrible.
Annoying.
Yeah, super annoying. So anyway, some guy is like trying to
Was he Asian?
No.
Some
guy?
Okay, go ahead.
Some guy is clearly trying to get my attention, like waving to me, talking to me. I'm like, oh,
But you
shit.
can't hear because you have your headphones on.
Earbuds in, yeah. But then I see him now with my name, so I'm like, oh, this is someone that knows me. So I take my headphones out, and it was this guy named Danny, nice guy. He was like, hey, you're Bronson Bloom, right? I was like, yeah. He's like, I listen to your podcast. I love you guys. You guys are great. And then he's like, congratulations. But it's so funny because these people know about us. He's like, congratulations, by the way. Your fiance was awesome on that episode. I was like, whoa, that's weird.
No, but isn't that, first of all, Danny, thank you for stopping and reaching out, because we love it when we're in public and people see us. We don't mind. We're not bothered by it.
I love it.
We're
Every
not
single
bothered
time.
by it. So if you ever see us, say hello. But that's nice.
Yeah. I wonder if it's been fine so far, but like our whole life is on to the world, but it's been fine so far.
Meaning what? Where are you going with this?
I don't know. Like, there are probably repercussions that could come with that. But whatever, it is what it is.
And it's not our whole life.
No, but it's a good portion of it.
It's really
People know, like I could never be off the grid. People know where I go to school. People know
why would you need to be off the grid?
I don't know. People know what time my classes are. People know who my fiance is. People know the neighborhood I live in. They know the places I like to eat.
Even if we didn't have the podcast, they can check you out and follow you on Instagram or Facebook and figure that out. Okay,
True, you're right.
Off the grid. Bronson off the grid.
Well, that wasn't a joke, being off the grid.
It's just stupid. You're never going to be off the grid.
Why?
How could you be off the grid?
What do you mean? How could you be off the grid?
You
just
be
go-
off the grid.
I go off the grid.
Okay.
Buy
What's the grid?
I buy
What
land.
grid?
and-
You're going to buy a little piece of paper that looks like a grid and jump off it? Yeah, I could do this all day.
That didn't even deserve the fucking thing. It'd be nice to look. I wouldn't want to be fully off the grid, but it'd be nice to be 30% less on the grid than I am now. You know?
You know, I like, yes, less is more.
And just
It's
like,
hot in here, isn't it?
Yeah, it is hot in here.
Fuck, I have the air down too. Fuck. I think I'm chafing in my ass right now.
Swamp ass. I gotta shave my ass. Speaking of,
Oh, poor Hannah.
she doesn't shave my ass.
People know too much, and that's what you're talking about.
She doesn't shave my ass. I do it. I would
What
never
room
put
is this?
someone
This
through
is laundry?
that.
It's not cool now. It says, I have it set at 72. It's only at 76.
Oh, fuck. And I put it down a while ago, too.
We have to get it fixed.
Oh, I'm sweating my ass off.
It's always, I put it down to 7. Let's see if it goes down. If not, we'll call our AC guy.
Whatever, it's
always a fucking expense.
There were so many things that I wanted to talk about that we
And
already
now you
talked
don't-
about today.
Like what?
The Diddy stuff.
Let's talk. I don't know much about
the pager stuff.
Okay, let's talk about it.
Okay.
All right. P. Diddy.
Yeah.
Sean Combs.
Sean Diddy Combs.
Okay.
Puff Daddy. That's what
All
it
right,
started
Puff
as.
Daddy.
Which is, to be fair, or actually not to be fair, this is going to be unfair. Rappers portray themselves as cool and hard, and we're the shit. We're masculine and we're the shit. Really, they're rapping. They're making rhymes with these gay ass names. It's the least cool. If you really think about what rap is, it's the least cool music form.
I don't find it to be music unless you're Eminem.
No, it's definitely music, and there's talent.
I know.
There's a spectrum of talent.
I know.
But even they all have these stupid gay ass names.
I'm so funny playing
Yeah,
with
she's
it.
playing with. I have the puppies that I'm fostering up here today.
We're interrupting ourselves again, but go ahead.
They live these gay ass names. Snoop Dogg. Imagine if I just was an adult man and I was like, actually, you know what? I want you all to call me Lil Peep. It's what the fuck? That's so lame. It's really lame. And all they're doing is
We
just
call you Hairy Ass.
all they're doing is just
Ladies and gentlemen,
rhyming.
it's Hairy Ass out to the stage.
And then also the whole thing.
I do that pretty well with the voice.
What?
Go ahead. Ladies and gentlemen.
You make a low voice.
Go ahead. Okay. Thank you. Put your hands together for Leather Lace coming out to the stage. Ladies and gentlemen, get your wallets and singles out. Thank you.
That's
Leather Lace, you want it out on the stage. Go ahead.
And then the even biggest lame thing, which is such chick shit, it's not what guys do at all, and it's the least masculine thing ever, is that when they get in little fights between rappers, they'll create diss tracks and they'll go back and forth, right? If me and you are both famous rappers, and let's say we don't even really know each other that well, but I'm from New York, you're from LA. So it's West Coast, East Coast, shit like that. I'll write a song about you and being like, John's so stupid, he doesn't get women.
Eminem does do that. He's like, who's the one that he's Obi? You don't even know me or whatever. Who's that? I don't know.
Sure.
No, but who's that one guy who was like the DJ, the one guy who was like that Asian guy?
I don't know.
Oh, I listen to it all the time when I run. And he's like, and you fat old bald Obi, you don't even know me or something.
If you really
do.
think about
you
that,
listen to the words.
that is so lame. These are 30-year-old men. Drake and Kendrick Lamar are two of the biggest rappers, and this year were notorious for having a public fight where they were posting on social media that they disliked each other, and they each wrote a song. But
what's his name? The fucking wackadoo was Kim Kardashian, the stupid black guy.
Kanye.
Then wasn't he with the other guy with the buck teeth?
I don't know.
Who's the comedian from Saturday Night Live? All tat up, looks like he's fucking Walking Dead. The thin guy.
Pete Davidson?
Yeah, weren't they going at it on texting because he was
Probably, but they were both dating Kim, so
Right.
that's different. But imagine you and Scott, who was just over here. Imagine you are two grown men, and you're publicly fighting by writing songs about each other.
Maybe
and
it works.
Everyone is like, "Oh, that's when the Kendrick diss track came out against Drake."
I don't. Yeah,
It's just Kendrick made a song against Drake,
So
saying
stupid.
Drake's lame and he's a loser and whatever.
But
everyone is like, "Oh, this is hardcore. This is badass."
just saying, if you're
And I'm
not watching, Bron's putting his hand over his mouth like he's like a rapper.
But it's just I've always thought this, and I don't get why that is what's cool culture, because really it's
But that
lame
I
as
don't think
fuck.
that's
what's viewed as cool culture.
90% of shit out there. I don't understand the fucking retards out there. But let's go back to Puff
So
Daddy,
Yeah,
P Diddy.
even that's how we got to start. Puff. Hey, imagine me being like, "Hey, I'm a 25-year-old man. Can you just call me Puff Daddy, please?" That's so
The
weird.
first person that started the name was Cher.
I think that's her name. Is it not her name? Madonna was definitely before. Cher was before
Cher
Madonna.
before. I think just the one name.
No, but rappers don't have one name. They have
No, but
Lil
Lil
Xan.
Chain. Yeah.
You
Lil
know.
Wayne.
Yeah. And why would you want to be Lil if you're trying to be
Lil.
if you're trying to be cool?
50 Cent.
Yeah. So
Tupac.
yeah, but that's his actual name, Tupac Shakur. That was his name.
That was his name.
Yeah.
All right, go ahead, Puff Daddy.
Diddy, yeah. So he got like arrested officially this
I
week.
don't know.
Should we look up the charges?
Can we look at some of the videos and shit? Like,
I don't know if there are videos.
I heard there's some sick shit. I heard like there was a video of Will Smith taking up the ass.
Oh, no, there's no way. I would have seen that.
No, that's what I heard.
There's no way I would have
That's
seen
what
that.
I heard. What's that, Sound of Music?
No, that was the royal family.
Who was telling me this?
Let's see. Diddy.
But he's fucked, huh?
Diddy charges.
Did he get charges or Diddy's charges?
Here are all the major accusations against him.
Let me see.
Well, it's just
But these guys, Bron, they think they're above the law. They do. They think they're untouchable.
So here's the thing. They are above the law until the law decides they're not. Because people like, so he's having parties. The like allegations are he would have these parties for decades. He was notorious for having these Hollywood elite parties, and he would have them all the time. And there was like sodomizing going on. Like people were like, it was just like orgies, and then there's also other stuff where people.
But that's not the issue. The issue is he was human trafficking and videotaping them and bribing them or something, right?
Yeah, but if he's bribing,
like
all
if
these
adults
people,
want to have sex and do whatever the fuck they want to do, they could do it.
yeah. But if this is popular enough that there were like thousands and thousands of people who've gone to these parties, who everyone in the industry knew, oh, Diddy was up to some freaky shit. There's enough people that he was extorting, I guess, through these videos that it's become this huge thing. It's like people knew about it. I don't think I think people knew about it. And it's like with Weinstein, everyone knew about it. You can watch interviews from 10 years ago, 10 years before, let's say even 10 years before Weinstein got arrested for all the stuff, of people saying, oh, be careful, just don't go into a hotel room with Harvey Weinstein. Like everyone.
Is he still in jail? Is Harvey Weinstein in jail?
Yeah.
All that money. And how long is Harvey Weinstein in jail for?
I think he's trying to get out because he's sick or something.
Like crazy.
He was sentenced to 16 years.
Jesus.
Yeah.
What's with the baby oil with P Diddy?
So when they raided
Is
his
it like
house,
10,000 bottles?
Yeah, literally 10,000
I
bottles they
understand
found
that.
in his house.
That makes no sense. How much?
What are you doing with all of
anal,
that
I
baby oil?
assume.
Well, what do you mean anal?
What
Like
do you mean?
like you mean he's getting analed or he's analing people?
Or people are analing people.
And he's just like, here's oil if you need it.
I understand, but okay, but you're not 10,000. First of all, it doesn't go bad, and
Yeah, why do you need such a stockpile? Are you
4.
worried about?
You need 2 or 3 bottles tops.
Yeah, because if you run out, the next day you go to your assistant. Hey, go out and get some more
Go,
baby oil.
Amazon will be here in 3 hours.
Yeah, true. And you can get a crate of it.
And
Just keep
Costco,
it-
they have big ones.
Yeah, and keep it in the garage.
Well, then it's warm oil.
That's even better. You want cold oil to get analed?
So wait, there's got to be some pictures or videos.
I don't think any have been released. Just like with Epstein, nothing's been released. So let's see.
He's
This says
fucked. Mom said a good one. He's gonna get. Wait, she said something about a funny joke about jail. Go ahead. He has a vodka company too, right?
does he? They all do.
Yeah.
I just want to see what his charges are. Sex trafficking charges. Diddy charges. Let's see. The charges detailed in a 14-page federal grand jury indictment, which was unsealed on Thursday, revealed an extensive and ongoing federal investigation. Investigators say the 54-year-old elaborately schemed to use his finances and status in the industry to fulfill his sexual desires in a recurrent and widely known pattern of abuse. Combs has maintained his innocence. What does that even mean? Combs has maintained his innocence. Will remain in jail until trial. He pleaded not guilty on Tuesday, so that was this week. Federal prosecutors have gathered enough evidence to procure a grand jury indictment against Combs, but what does that mean for his upcoming, for his career or whatever? Also, okay, so these courtroom sketches, why do we still do that? I don't understand.
I don't know why they do that. And they always make them look, by the way, artists are amazing. They can make them look like the person.
But it's
you have a video.
So
why do that?
We're allowed to have artistic interpretations of what's going on in the courtroom.
But why do
we
it?
Can't just have a photograph. I don't understand.
Right. It makes no sense.
That's so from the 1800s. Before,
Absolutely. It's the weirdest
that's
thing.
why they had courtroom
Because they didn't
artists,
have
because they
video
didn't have
photographs.
They didn't have they didn't have cameras.
So that's hysterical. Good point.
I don't understand that. In Combs' case, U.S. Attorney Damian Williams said the evidence supporting his indictment includes records obtained pursuant to over 300 grand jury subpoenas. The detention letter, which asked Judge for Combs to be put in jail prior to his trial, levied charges that suggest victim tampering, including efforts to conceal his actions with victims who received grand jury subpoenas. Attorneys have video evidence. Prosecutors say they have dozens of videos depicting Combs' so-called freak-offs, sometimes day-long sex performances between sex workers and people he allegedly coerced into participating through narcotics and intimidation that corroborate witness testimony. Combs and the alleged victims received IV fluids to recover from the physical exertion and drug abuse, according to the indictment. The indictment also states Homeland Security agents procured drugs and more than 1,000, not 10,000. More than 1,000 bottles of baby oil and lubricant that were used in allegedly used in Combs' freak-off. Multiple AR-15 rifles and large-capacity magazines were also discovered. The wealth of evidence prosecutors say they have against Combs is one reason why criminal defense attorney believes he has an uphill battle ahead of him. Combs' federal case is substantially different from the he said, she said that you see in some sexual assault cases. We're talking about the potential for there to be dozens of people coming to court testifying. Dozens of victims and witnesses provided detailed, credible, and corroborated information against the defendant. These individuals include many who personally experienced and witnessed violence and other crimes at the hand of the defendant.
He's fucked.
There's RICO charges too, racketeering charges.
There's going to be a lot of movies and documentaries on this fucking thing, right?
So the thing
That's by the rights.
Those rights are definitely available. And
it's going to be, he's fucked.
The thing that a lot of people are saying is like, see, this shows Hollywood is...
No, it doesn't mean everybody's bad.
No, but if he's having these like big parties that everyone knows about, allegedly, I guess, and like so many people were friends with him, right? Like there's so many pictures that have come out with like Hillary Clinton at his house and Kamala Harris, and like he was a big person in the industry and in the culture. And he was doing this, like there's so many of them, like so many people over the course of the last 5 years have just fallen for doing shit like this. That it's like, is it that pervasive? Are people like, but it's only at the top. Like, are people doing that kind of? I guess they are. People are doing that shit. Like, poor people in like Appalachia are probably also having, like, sex workers have day-long sex things.
I don't know. I think that maybe people get when you get to that level, you need a higher stimulant. I don't know. I mean, you think it's a power thing? I don't know. I mean, but listen, I'm all in favor of do whatever you want sexually. Adults can do whatever the fuck they want. But when you start drugging people and doing this shit, that's some fucked up shit.
Yeah.
No, that's sick shit.
Yeah.
He's done.
It's not surprising. Like,
no, I'm not surprised.
It's not
but
surprising.
He's done. But he's done.
Yeah. But the thing that I just feel
all the money in the world, would you want to go to jail?
No, not for all the like to spend the rest of my life in jail. But would I do 10 years in jail for $100 million? Maybe.
I wouldn't. I would not. I would not.
No, probably not at this point.
Life's
if I was 50, maybe. Like at this point, like 10 years, then I get out and I'm almost 40, and I would miss my whole life.
Nope. 10 years is missing your life period.
5 years. Would you? 5 years, 50 million.
No.
5 years, 100 million.
Nope.
5 years, 350 million.
No. Why? What do I need more?
You wouldn't do that 5 years?
What's the point of it?
Eh.
What's the point of it? So you have more stuff?
I feel like after 6 months in jail, it just becomes
and
your
it also
life.
depends what jail, too.
Yeah, that's true.
Federal, a little bit different.
And as like white, soft Jewish guys, I feel like we'd kind of be fucked anyways.
Well, no, all the Jews going to federal white-collar crime.
Oh, no, then you're set.
They all become religious because you're protected. It's different.
By who?
Well, because there's different rules if you claim that you are going with a religion, and it's a little bit different.
Yeah.
Leave it to the Jews to find an angle to that. Well, he's fucked.
Yeah. None of it's surprising to me. People at the top are always fucked up.
But you were going to say something like you said it's not surprising, but almost like there's like an innocence to it or something.
No, not an innocence. To me, and I said this a little bit, but I'll just extrapolate more. Like, to me, these things are all known, and the people who have inevitably like uncovered this, right? Whoever snitched to the police or whoever decided that Diddy was going to be taken down, and that's what I think it is. It's a decision, a takedown decision. Same with Harvey Weinstein, same with Jeffrey Epstein, same with Bill Cosby, same with Andrew Cuomo. It's like these guys are all darlings. People like there's so many pictures and shit of Diddy with like politicians. People love these people. Harvey Weinstein was like a huge donor to the Obamas, and he was at parties with the Clintons and Oprah Winfrey. It's like they were all good friends. They all knew about this. I think that at a certain point, something happens, and they're just like, we need to
escape.
He knows too much, or we need to distract from this happening. So here's our fall guy for this month. I really do think that's the case. I have no evidence for that, but I just think it.
You're probably right.
Because like they know this. They know these things.
Right. There's so many people out there in these fucking parties. You tell me everyone's keeping a secret?
Right, exactly. It's like
There's
it's too big.
There's no way.
Why all of a sudden now? I guess you could argue that the majority of the people are scared about it. But like with Jeffrey Epstein, no one was afraid of that. And the biggest thing with Jeffrey Epstein, the thing that is so frustrating and no one cares, we should really be out on the streets every single day protesting about this. The government, the courts have come out and said, yes, there is a list. Like the FBI, CIA, they've been like, yes, Jeffrey Epstein had a list of people that he did all this work with and he had dirt on and all this stuff. Like not a single name.
No, we never
from that list.
We never got that name.
It's because the people who were on that list are powerful enough to say, nope.
Correct.
Knock it off.
What
You're
about
not putting
that
that list
madam?
out.
Who is that with the madam?
Ghislaine Maxwell?
Yeah, she's with Epstein?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she like took a lot of the fall, but she testified in court. She had a whole trial, and they haven't released any details of it. Because she probably got on the stand, or like maybe she didn't, but she should have gotten on the stand and been like, all right, ready? He was there. He was there. She was there. He did the most shit.
Maybe the judge was there. Who the fuck knows?
Yeah, and so they just keep this shit under wraps, which is so frustrating.
Corrupt. There's a lot of corruption.
Yeah. But I guess also, like, what can you do? It is what it is. Can't fight that.
No, but it is interesting, though, when you think about it, because someone from above and more power is saying, nope, not happening.
And it's gotten clearer and clearer, like the playbook that they do. A perfect one where they just, it's so clear is with RFK. Whenever RFK, something happens with him that like the left or the media won't like, right? Like the day he went independent or the day he
supported Trump,
dropped out of the race and supported Trump. The day after those things happen, all of a sudden, all these news stories come out with like bad claims about him, right? Like the day he,
so it's so terrible that the news is like that.
But it's so blatant. So at least to people who are paying attention, like the day he left, or the day
most people don't pay attention, Ronnie. That's the problem.
Yeah, the day he what's it with Trump? What's it called?
Endorsed.
That's the word. The day he endorsed Trump, all these stories came out where it was like JFK ate a dog at one point, and JFK
he hit someone's
hit a
bicycle
bear
or hit a bear, and then
he shot a bear and then he dumped it in Central Park.
Yeah,
which is like, and he released a video where telling the story. He was like, "Yeah, this is true. I did it." But it's like they have all these stories and they sit on them
to make
until they need it,
so
and they're
bad.
like, "Oh shit, RFK isn't doing something we don't want."
What was that?
Boom,
about?
take him down.
Where was there a bear that he
was
picked it up?
upstate. He tells the story. There's a video of him telling the story at his kitchen table. He was in upstate New York hunting. He was like literally hunting.
Okay.
He shot a bear. And he got a call. Oh no, he was like, his hunting went late. And he was like, I don't want to waste this bear. He's like, I used the skin, I used the meat, I used the fat for oil, all this stuff. He's like, I used that. So I don't want to waste this bear. Just kill this animal. So he was running late in his hunt or something. So he put the bear in his trunk. And, maybe he was hunting in New Jersey or something. He put the bear in his trunk and he had a meeting that he had to go to in Manhattan. So he drove it to Manhattan and he had this bear in his trunk. But apparently it was illegal to hunt bears in New York. So he was like, if I get caught with this bear in my trunk, I'm going to be fucked. So he dumped it in Central Park on his way to the meeting, which is bizarre.
That's weird because there's no bears in
It's
Central
weird.
Yeah.
It is very weird. But it's innocent. He was hunting and then he's like, oh, fuck, I can't use his bear, so I'm going to dump it. And then there's a picture of him eating a dog.
He really ate a dog?
Yeah, he was in China or Vietnam or something
Okay,
in like
but
the
that's
80s.
what they do.
And there's a picture of him holding like a carcass. Actually, we don't know if it's a dog. But the day after that happened, the media was like, he eats dogs, he
Show
eats
me that
dogs.
picture.
But then now when we say, oh, Haitians eat dogs, they're like, how dare you? How dare you?
No, but that's what I said.
You know what I
that?
mean?
Yeah, I
No,
know.
no, no.
what you
The
said, yes.
media is saying that. What's his name? RFK dog.
What's his first name, Robert?
Robert. Dog picture. There's like a picture that's picture. Come on.
You get pictures of dogs.
RFK dog picture. Yeah, here. I don't know if that's a dog.
I can't see it.
That could be anything.
That is pretty gross, though, when you think about
But to be like, I've seen dogs being cooked in China. I would not go near it.
Who would eat a dog?
I would not go near it.
I would not eat a dog. Ugh.
Yeah,
Who eat duck?
we've eaten duck.
I like duck.
Yeah, but duck's not dog.
I know, but it's still like duck.
But a chicken is a duck's closer to a chicken than it is a
Yeah.
dog.
Yeah. Ugh.
All right, so
All
these pager.
Yeah,
wanna talk about that?
interesting. Go ahead, talk about it.
I almost don't believe it.
Well, it's true.
I know, but I almost don't believe it. You know what I mean? Because it's
Very
so
it's very creative
it's just so bizarre.
and James Bond like,
If it was in a James Bond movie, we would have been like, that's kind of stupid.
or it's never could happen.
Right. That's what I mean. So this week,
And the Israeli technology is amazing, though.
this week, Hezbollah, all of a sudden it was like Tuesday morning. And all of a sudden there were all these reports
Like
coming out of
2,800
Lebanon.
or something like that.
Like 1,400 people were severely injured and like 12 people killed in the first wave. And then a couple days later, it was like another wave of it. Apparently, all these reports were coming out that were like Hezbollah, which is the Lebanese terrorist organization. There were explosions throughout Lebanon, and these pagers were like blowing up in these people's pockets. And
All at the same time.
yeah, and at first the like Hezbollah authorities were like, "It's Israel, it's Israel." Israel didn't say anything, and the U.S. was like, "What? We don't know anything. This wasn't us either." But now that the dust has settled a little bit, apparently, this is what Israel has said. Israel came out and said, "Yeah, this was us." Apparently, this has been in the works for a long time.
Isn't it Israelis who put the bid in and told them?
No, apparently, and we can find out the exact details. What I read was that the IDF Mossad, the intelligence agency, their CIA, created a company based out of Hungary, so that it was even created a pager company based out of Hungary a while ago, a year ago or whatever. But I think it was after October 7th, and started manufacturing pagers and was selling them to other people, legitimate sales, because they wanted to have a legitimate company before they sold to Hezbollah so that it legitimized that. They're making like real sales, manufacturing real pagers. But it's just like, who uses pagers? Who's like, you know what? I need to put an order in of 1,000 pagers.
I agree. I didn't know pagers even existed anymore.
No. So then this company sold them to Hezbollah because Hezbollah wanted to use pagers instead of cell phones.
They thought the cell phones are being...
And because they can't be tracked and bugged and shit.
Correct.
But then apparently there were explosive devices in these pagers that
How
were
great is that?
preloaded and went off at
How great
a
is that?
predetermined time.
Is that not wild?
And it killed like a lot of people. 12 people is a lot to kill. It like blew their dick off, I guess, because you have it in your pocket,
Right.
and it just blows you in half. Let's see the exact details. Israel pager.
It truly is. It's very creative, Bronson, is it not?
I mean, yeah, it's extremely creative, but it's crazy.
Well, isn't it crazy that Hamas built those tunnels? I mean, that's crazy.
Yeah.
For all those years, and they can't be flooded, and they can't be, I mean, that's
It can be
crazy.
flooded.
No, they have certain ventilation where for gas and or flooding that they can't, it diverts it. It's very creative.
That's like engineering.
Yeah,
But then the Jews built all these tunnels apparently in Brooklyn too, under the city. Remember those?
That was wild.
That was crazy. So this says, 37 have been killed from the attack, including 2 children. But that's according to Lebanon's health minister, so I don't know. It's taken journalists days to begin to unravel the details of how this unfolded. As news has trickled out about the complex and deadly operation, it appears that Israeli intelligence agencies introduced the exploding devices via the supply chain to get modified in their targets' hands. While supply chain interference isn't unheard of in the world of spies and espionage, the attack on the militant and political group Hezbollah opened up a new chapter in covert operations. Let's see. I want to know how they did it. The New York Times reported Wednesday that according to 3 intelligence officers, Israel didn't intercept pagers bound for Hezbollah, but rather created an entire supply chain as a web of shell companies to make and distribute counterfeit models, including shipping the explosive ones to Hezbollah. Emily Harding, a veteran of the CIA, said that supply chain compromises are key tools for intelligence, blah, blah. All right, now this just talks about like the history of spies. That's so stupid. It is crazy.
It's very creative. Very creative.
It feels, I don't know, I guess part of it is smart because it's so targeted that like you think, oh, this pager's on this person, so it's going to kill them. But like, you know, what if dad has his little kid on his lap at the time and you're like, okay, time to blow.
That's the risk of war. I'm not happy about it, but that's the risk of war. And the father, if that's his fucking job and profession, is he a fucking terrorist? Remember, I mean, they'll bomb the house.
I know, but I've been thinking a lot about this in the last couple of weeks.
It just happened 2 days ago.
Not the pagers.
Okay.
This idea of like how this war, Israel is like going in and just blowing up shit in Gaza, and then turning around and being like, that's what Gaza does to us. They do even worse to us, so we can go in and we're justified in doing this. And then people like us, like American Jews or people on the right in America are like, hell yeah, they're defending themselves. That's self-defense. This person came in and attacked them, and they're defending themselves. But like if you view, I don't know how to put this into words because I've just been thinking about it. If you view, which Israel does and you do and we do, you view like Hamas as backwards, disgusting, low moral level people.
Mm-hmm.
And you're like, we're just doing what they're doing. That's not a justification.
Little difference though.
Israel, especially if it wants to say this way, Israel is viewed as like a first world, modern, developed, safe, modern country, like on par with America, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, so Israel should hold themselves to a higher standard than a backwards, low moral, evil,
but they're not.
Terrorist
That's
group.
not what they're doing. They're saying
they're doing worse shit than Hamas is.
They're
honestly.
saying, never again. It's enough. This is done. We have to wipe them out, so we never have this problem. Then this is not something that's going to. That's what Israel's doing. So there's all these years of putting a Band-Aid on it and being sort of humanitarian and doing it in that way where Israel, like, it hasn't worked. You see that they're surrounded by such hatred by these Middle Eastern countries. So Netanyahu now is saying, it's done. It's over. We will not rest until it does not exist.
Until what doesn't exist?
The terrorist groups do not exist. And the only way to do that is because they're hiding behind their own innocent people.
But see, that's where you lose me. Were you just about to say the only way to make sure that terrorists don't exist is because they're hiding behind their own innocent people to get rid of the innocent people?
No, but there's still Israel's still trying to do something. It's not an easy war, so they're not just going and saying we're bombing hospitals and this and that, but they're doing what they do to make sure it doesn't happen again. So there are going to be casualties. It's nothing we can do about it, and it's listen.
No, that's not true. There's nothing we can do about it. That's not true.
What can they do about it?
I don't know. But so the only number.
Okay, literally Bronson. But what do you think they can do?
So a big thing in the news that happened this
there
week.
was going to be a ceasefire if they gave back our hostages. They're not doing that. So if we succumb to them, we lose the power. We say give back the hostages. We showed you what we can do. Give back our hostages. They have not done that. So what's next? You know what? You kill everybody in sight till you get your hostages back. That's what you do. I'm sorry. It's a fight. It's a war. They gave them the opportunity over and over and over again. And now what everyone say? Oh, Israel's so wrong. They're so mean. And America wants to do a ceasefire. No. Give back the hostages. It's like this. America doesn't negotiate with terrorists. Okay? Here's the deal. You give back our people. If you don't, I'm going to fucking kill you and everybody that you know.
But what if
what do you do?
What if the aftermath of that, like let's say that mentality of you didn't do the one thing I asked you. So
Not the one thing, you're holding our people.
Right. So the one thing they're asking is bring our hostages back.
But don't you think there's a difference?
Wait.
But hear me out. We're not saying we want this part of your land if you don't like. We're not trying to bully them. We're saying you came into our country. You forget about raping, killing, sodomizing, burning, skinning alive, doing stuff. You have our people. You're telling us you have our people. They're alive. We just want them back. We'll do a ceasefire. We want them back, and they'll sit down and talk, try to figure it out. They're saying no.
Well, but if you're on, try to put yourself in their shoes, okay? Just for a second.
They don't have shoes.
Okay, I know. I'm fully pro-Israel.
Yes.
But I'm trying to be pragmatic. I'm even so pro-Israel that my whole thing is I'm worried that Israel's response is going to make people hate Israel more.
Always had that worry, and I think people hate Israel anyway, so it doesn't matter.
But it's every day the hatred is getting worse.
Okay, but we need our hostages back.
So put yourself on the other side, right? Like because they're not just machines. Like they're humans thinking, making decisions on the other side. Israel, that you know they're way more powerful than you and can squash you like a bug if they really wanted to, right? You're Hamas, you're sitting in your tunnels and you're like calculating the strategy. Okay, they can annihilate us and they feel justified to do it. The one thing we have over them, the one little piece of power that's keeping us from being annihilated are these 30 people.
See, I don't agree with you.
But if I'm on their side and I'm thinking strategy, I would be like, okay, let's say we give these people up. They're just going to come in and kill us anyways.
No, because
to them, they're like, we don't trust Israel.
No,
Israel hates us. They've always had their boot on our neck. That's what they think.
Okay, but listen, a couple of things. Number one is America, when they were asking for the sort of ceasefire, there wouldn't be retaliation. Like if they give the hostages back, there'd be no more fire. There would be no more bombing. Now, I'll tell you this.
I don't know if that's true.
It is true.
Why wouldn't they just go in then in a month and break the ceasefire?
Listen. If somebody came in and kidnapped one of my kids, I'm killing everybody in sight that's stopping me from getting them. Let me explain this to you. I'm killing their kids. I'm killing their fucking mothers until you give back my kids. If I was a stronger one, I would say, no one dies if you give back my kids. You don't give back my kids. Everyone that you love, everyone around you, will say, dead.
Now, what if, so you, because
you understand that, right?
I hear that. And that's when you, like you said, the only solution is to go do this. What if they said, I'll give you your kids back for $5 million? Would you try to kill all of the people in their family? Or would you be like, you know what?
But that's not what Hamas is saying.
Wait, but I'm asking you. Or would you be like, okay, you know what? Yeah, $5 million.
You've cost me enough. I'm not going to $5 million.
No, but so you would then So for $5 million, you would go and you would kill everyone they've ever met.
I would probably give the $5 million.
I'd probably risk my life even more.
I'd give you the $5 million. Then when I had you back, I'd kill everybody in their fucking that they know and them, every one of them.
Because so that's what I'm saying. There are other solutions. Because Hamas,
tell me.
None of them might be good.
No, that's okay.
Right, so a big thing in the news this past week, and you've probably been, or it was last week. You probably don't know about this just because it was like Twitter news, and there's this guy who has his name's Daryl Collins. He's a historian, and he has a podcast called Martyr Made, phenomenal podcast about history. He went on Tucker Carlson last week. I listened to the episode before the whole shitstorm went down. This was like the biggest news story for a couple days. Tucker said it was the biggest controversy he's ever been involved in his entire media. This guy went on this podcast, Daryl, and they started talking about World War II. He said his latest podcast series, he does he will spend 3 years doing one podcast. The podcast will be broken up into 8 parts. So I'm listening to, he did one on the history of Israel and Palestine up until 1948. So it's just the history of how Israel became a country. It goes back to like the 1800s. It's really interesting, really in depth. 27 hours, this podcast. Wow. He spent like 6 years doing it, right? So that's the kind of depth this guy goes into. He reads every single possible thing that's ever come out about it, and then he tells you pretty much everything. So he's doing a World War II podcast that's coming out soon. And on Tucker, he went on Tucker and he said Churchill, who was the British prime minister during the war, he said Churchill is the real villain of World War II. And so they talked about it and they went into context, and the context made a lot of sense. But the media took that as like you're saying he's worse than Hitler, you're anti-Semitic. And it was a huge, huge thing. It was a massive controversy, and everyone was saying this is despicable to be trying to rewrite history. What the context was, and it was really interesting.
Isn't it interesting, though, to stimulate good conversation? Like, why put the guy down?
Yeah.
You don't have to agree, but isn't that what's interesting, to give you a different perspective so you can stimulate good conversation and you can learn and debate it? But this whole cancel culture, that's a fucking ridiculous.
Yeah.
Because people are afraid. They're afraid.
So
and I want to get back to your solutions on
this.
this.
Yeah. But this ties into it.
Okay.
Because so he came out with the podcast last week, just a response to the huge controversy. And he was addressing all this stuff and like giving context. And he basically said, he was like, look, what I mean is, he's like, of course the Nazis are evil and Hitler was a demon. I don't have to say that because it's a given. I don't have to be like, stupid. Of course Hitler was evil. But it's like, because that's a given. Everyone knows that. So he was like,
aren't people assholes though? Like that. I mean,
and he's like, that's why I didn't say. That's why I just said I was talking about Churchill. I didn't talk about Hitler because
we know
Hitler is the villain.
Bad, yeah.
And he was saying the main reason why he thinks that, and there's so much more to go into this, but that's a whole other thing. But the main reason why he thinks that there was such a backlash was because the West, Britain, America, have used like our entire culture and existence is based off of post-World War II and how we came out of that. And so if you question any little bit of that narrative, it's so detrimental to society and the powers that be that you just cannot do it. It's off limits. And he was making a lot of sense because post-World War II, America wasn't a world superpower before World War II. We weren't. We were just a strong country. We weren't even involved in World War I. Like, we just did our own thing. We were like just kind of isolationist Americans doing their own thing, being industrial. But post-World War II, we became the world superpower. And it was because we went in and won World War II and defeated the greatest evil of all, the Nazis. And his argument is we've used that justification ever since to build up our government, make it as the most powerful government in the world, and be like, we need to go, we're the ones who can, we recognized it during World War II in the 40s. We recognized that evil and we went in and we stopped it. And so we need to do that now. And so we used it to go into Iraq, Afghanistan, Vietnam, Korea, all of these countries. The only reason we did that was because we had the backing of the success of World War II. The irony is that every single one of those wars that I named, we actually lost those wars. But anyways, his point, which is what my point was about Israel, is he said, the reason why he said Churchill was the greatest villain of World War II was because there were so many times before the real shit hit the fan, where it was like so many people were fighting, the whole war was happening, Jews were just being slaughtered left and right. There were so many times where Hitler tried to make peace.
Is that true?
Yeah, it is. So the other side of the argument is people say those were fake attempts. He was just trying to make peace with Britain, France, and America to get us off his back, and then he would just go in and do it after we put our arms away, and he would just secretly go and do it. There's no evidence to support that, so it's equally true both points, right? Because there's no evidence to support, because Hitler never went back on a treaty ever, not one of the treaties he did. So he's saying there were so many attempts that Hitler tried before anyone died. It was like right as Hitler invaded Poland, and like right when that was happening, he was just like, I don't know all the details about this, but basically he was like, I'm satisfied with this, wanted to make a peace.
But therefore, how's that with Israel?
Okay, so his point was Churchill specifically spearheaded the thing of being like, no, there is not a single thing that we're going to do with this guy. He's evil. He's a terrorist.
Okay.
And so but then
not so bad.
But that was 19. Okay, right. So not so bad. That was 1936, 1937. No, 38 maybe. Let's say. Let's say that happened, and you just had Poland. There would probably be 20 million people still alive? Because you have to factor in the war with the Soviet Union, American soldiers, Jews.
All right,
because so like, let's say the Churchill said, okay, because if you're really talking about like life, right? We don't want war because we don't want people to die. Then you're going to do everything in your power to stop that. But it was kind of like the military industrial complex. Churchill didn't care about the lives of people. He sent millions and millions of Brits off to their death because he continued the war for 5 more years.
I know, but I'm curious to know about the Israeli connection. I'm sorry.
So the connection is, are we going to keep going on this war? Or are there other solutions that we can come to the table now, and now in 80 years, we can look back on and being like, wow, okay only 30,000 people died instead of 30 million. Okay. Because if World War II was stopped in 1938, which it could have been.
We don't know. There's a lot of what ifs. You don't know. These are speculations.
That's every single thing that we're talking about.
But now, listen. But now we're living in it.
No,
right?
We're not.
Let me finish for a
There's
second.
no what if. The hostages are a what if. What if they're alive?
No.
What if they come back?
Ronnie, what I'm saying is in the late 30s, early 40s, that we weren't alive, and we don't know. We don't know if there's any record of it, right? We don't know.
Record of what?
Of Hitler saying, I want this.
Yeah, there are records of it.
Okay, you've seen them?
There's meetings, like he met with Churchill. And
okay, so let me ask you, so currently, to go back to the beginning, what brought this topic up about this guy. And you said there are other alternatives. They might not be good, but there are other alternatives. I'm all in favor of, I just want to make sure that the Jews, that this doesn't happen 5 years down the road again, right? Because this keeps happening. So my question is, what are some alternatives? Yeah. I don't know the answer. So I'm asking you what your thoughts are.
Right, it's a lose-lose.
No, but
because we're in war.
You're a smart guy. I'm not saying I'm not trying to pacify you. I'm being honest. You're a smart guy. I respect what you have to say. You know a lot about history. You're very well read, a lot more than I do. And I come in more like a bull in a china shop, the tough alpha personality. So I'm not saying mine's always right, but I do care about the fact that this is always happening to Israel, and I'm over it. And like now you're saying never again, and therefore it's got to. And I equate it like if someone did that to my child. So tell me, and mom sometimes when I'm involved in altercations or tough situations, mom sometimes is the voice of reason to me, and I say, okay, I hear you. In something like this, I'm asking you who's smart, not to put you back against I'm being sincere.
Yeah.
What are some suggestions you think might be alternatives? Good or bad? They might be bad, but what do you think are the right things? Because remember, keep in mind that we've asked for our people back, the hostages. So if a lot could be accomplished if they gave back. So at some point, do you kowtow and say,
we haven't asked for our people back. We've asked for them by bombing them.
That's not true.
Yes.
That's not true. That's not
true. Because the day after it happened, we didn't say give our people back. We went in and annihilated a lot of them.
But that's a big difference. So you can't say
no. I know, but that's the reality.
No, it's not, because we're way past that point. Of course, the following day we're going to come back and we're forced to be like, hey, can we talk about it? Okay, this wasn't a thing where they came and took hostage and said, whoa, we need to talk about this. They came in and did horrific stuff that's unheard of. Even people talk about war, that are in war say, you don't even do that in war, right? Yeah. There's this man code, so to speak, there's
an initial retaliation, but that's a year ago now. So we're not still in that initial retaliation.
But we've been asking, it's not like we're saying yesterday, after almost a year, right? It's October 7th is coming up very quickly.
Yeah.
October 6th for the year. 7th. No, for a year will be October 6th. Yeah. But my point is this. We're not saying, it's not like last week we first said, oh, you know what? Can we have a hostage back? It's been happening for almost a year.
Yeah.
So therefore, what do you recommend?
So if the priority is ensuring Jewish lives, saving Jewish lives, right? Keeping the Jews alive. If that's the priority, which I think it should, that's the point of Israel, right? To ensure that the Jews have strength behind them and don't go extinct. Therefore, to me, a total annihilation campaign doesn't seem like the most prudent way to achieve that goal, because you said, I don't want this to happen in 5 years from now, so I have to annihilate them today.
Well, the problem is, if you talk to people, like even let's say, for example, you might with Lebanon or Iran, more Iran, not Lebanon, or whatever. But you might say, okay, we could have a treaty. There could be a treaty.
We almost did under Trump.
We almost said
the Abraham Accords.
Right. But I'm saying I don't want death on anybody. I want death on bad people.
Let's go for that treaty idea, right? Because if you annihilate people,
these are bad. But I'm talking about the terrorist groups are the problem.
Yeah, no, of course, but
that are being supported by
say,
these countries, supported.
So if you
and funded,
if you annihilate, so you agree that there are other people in this war, not just Hamas, right? Like there are other powers at B. It's not just this. It's not just Palestinians
that hate Jews and America.
So when you say annihilate them, who do you mean? Just the Palestinians, or do you mean Iran as a nation, Lebanon as a nation, Syria as a nation?
Well, maybe if you get rid of
because that's a
Hezbollah
much bigger ask.
But maybe if you get rid of Hezbollah and Hamas, and you show maybe you start after you get rid of the poison, the toxin, and you get rid of these bad people. Maybe 1 or 2 generations, things get better.
Why would Iran, Lebanon, ever come to the table ever again if their people were annihilated? What would ever draw them to the table?
Because unfortunately,
because they can annihilate too. There's no fear.
Okay,
Iran doesn't fear Israel. They don't.
Okay,
they have nukes.
What do you suggest?
Because in war you have to concede. There's no all-out win. Every war there's because even America in World War II, we lost tens of thousands, tens of millions.
I'm asking you a question. What do you sound like Kamala?
We have to concede something. I don't know what they're asking for, but you have to concede something.
I'm asking you a suggestion.
I don't know the detail.
Okay.
But my suggestion is you have to concede something. Because let's say we give up, you give up the bottom half of Israel, right? I don't want to do that. But
Israel will never give up more land. Never.
Okay, but
we're the smallest thing right now. There's no need to give up more land.
We're just doing hypotheticals.
Right.
Because I don't want that. But if
that'll never ever happen.
If that stops this war, and then let's say in good faith we say we will stop this, we will not do another thing if we get peace treaties on the board. We ensure that these treaties are also with Britain and America and bigger powers to keep the hand on it. To me, that's better than annihilating Palestinians right now, getting rid of Gaza. Hamas doesn't exist anymore. And then 2 years down the road, fucking Iran nukes Israel, because why wouldn't they? The first solution, half of Israel, is way better than no Israel to me. And if you look at other wars, like World War II, if you gave up Poland, that would suck for the Poles. Our ancestors would have died. But our ancestors already were dying because...
We wouldn't be here.
No, but Poland already was invaded.
Okay, but we wouldn't be here.
No, that's incorrect. Poland was already invaded. Right? So if after Hitler invaded Poland, and then he said, that's all I wanted.
Hitler, but listen, Bronson, that's what they say. Listen, Hitler is like Hamas and Hezbollah. They will never stop doing something.
I don't know if that's true.
Okay, that's my opinion. Listen, roaches.
But based on what?
Roaches, they're evil.
Wait, but Hamas says
evil. It's based on. Okay, I'm 57 years old. I have a lot of experience with people, a little bit double the amount of years than you do, and I deal with more people than you do. So I have a very good understanding of good, bad, and dealing with people and negotiate, whatever it might be.
Yeah.
If you're evil, you're sick. It's never. You have to become. It's like cancer. You can't leave a little bit of cancer in your body. You have to cut it all out. These people are cancerous. I'm giving general statements.
But so then I'm asking you. You're saying what's the solution for my solution? I'm asking you. Okay, we annihilate every single Palestinian and every single Lebanese terrorist in Hezbollah. So we kill tens of thousands of these countries' citizens. What happens then? Everyone just is like, okay, Israel's their own country. We'll let them be.
Okay.
Are you that delusional that you really think... So Iran, who you say is evil,
I don't think Iran will do anything against Israel because of America.
But you just said they're evil and they won't stop.
You
just said that.
No. Listen, stop. You yelling. I'm talking. Why are you yelling? I'm having a conversation.
You said these people are evil and they won't stop. Even if they sign treaties, why would we listen to them? They won't stop.
When I say that, I mean the bad, the terrorist group. Just like you have bad rapists in America. You let them out of jail. They my opinion, those people that rape and the people that are doing it in Aurora, Colorado, whatever, the Venezuelan people coming over illegally from the into America, the evil people. When you put them in jail and let them out, I think those people should be killed. They shouldn't. Let's just hear me out.
Yeah.
They should not breathe our oxygen. They're just our bad people.
I agree.
So
but Hamas isn't an isolated incident. They're supported by Iran.
Okay, but
so you get rid of all of them, and then Iran's going to be like, okay, we're not bad people anymore. We don't support bad
Bronson,
people.
Look how
That's childish.
No, even how America has changed. Okay, I think that if you get rid of even the top people, the leaders in fucking Lebanon, the bad fucking people, because most people, even the people in Gaza, there's a lot of good people. They didn't want this fucking thing. It's just bad terrorists. It's bad leaders.
So you get rid of the bad leaders, and then what do? You put in good leaders?
No, I think eventually that. Look, I think unfortunately, again, I don't have all the answers.
But so history has the answers to that specific problem because America has done that time and time again. The only reason Al-Qaeda exists, the only reason the Taliban exists, the only reason these terrorist groups exist and hate America and have...
I know, you told me this.
Is what?
Is because America came in thinking they knew what they were doing. They tried to put in the people. They didn't know what they...
America came into their countries, took out their leaders that were appointed by their people, put in our people, and said, okay, you guys, here you go. You have your own country now, but we were the... Like, think about if it was you. If Russia came in, if Putin and his government influenced our elections, they did it. All of a sudden, Kamala or Trump weren't elected. Let's say Trump won the election, and all of a sudden he was just assassinated, and then some new person came in.
Sort of like what they did by pushing out Biden and putting in Kamala.
Yes, but that's within our own country. That's by Americans.
And I'm not happy about that.
Okay, but if Putin
I
did
hear
that,
you loud and clear.
Let me just go through this. Okay. If Putin did that, and all of a sudden we had President Alavichkov, who was clearly a Russian asset, was like, yes, I work for Putin, but I'm your president. And not a single one of us voted. Would you just be like, okay? No, or would you be like, we need to fuck Russia up?
Okay.
Which would you do?
I hear you. I agree with you.
And so that's what we've done in these countries. So your solution is we need to take out the leaders in Lebanon, Iran.
No, okay.
That's what you just said. Take out the leaders.
I'm just giving... I don't know. I said I don't know the answer.
None of us do.
Okay, but I'm giving different options.
And I'm saying I don't think those options are going to work.
Fair enough. Okay, all I know is until they give back the hostages, Israel should keep destroying their country.
Should we destroy them at our own expense?
There will be casualties, 100%.
No.
And they know
not
about
casualties. That. Should we destroy them at our extinction?
Okay.
Because that's a moral thing. Should we go down for the 60 hostages?
I think that if we don't stand up and stand firm, we will be extinct no matter what. I'd rather go fighting.
That's a more
I'd rather go fighting.
So you'd rather. So it's like
because
the population for the few.
No, I'm saying we will. I think that if we don't try to annihilate them, Israel's done anyway.
No. You don't think try to annihilate them. Succeed.
Yes, succeed.
Not try. Like
succeed.
If we don't annihilate them,
yes,
Israel will be annihilated. That's your...
I think either way. I think Israel, if we don't stand up and do what we need to do to protect our country in that regard and fight them with strength, I think, and show them that we're not afraid and we're not going to back down, I think no matter what, it's going to be... October 7th will happen more often and it'll be bigger.
So what do you think realistically, like actually realistically, what do you think will happen if, let's say, we do annihilate every single Hamas person and every single Hezbollah person?
If Trump's
what does
in
the
office,
world look
if
like?
Trump is in office, Israel will be protected. If Kamala, Israel won't be. I just think he's much stronger.
No. But so Israel will be protected because nothing will happen,
because
or will we go to war with them?
America's strength under Trump will prevent any other Middle Eastern country going after Israel. I think because he's strong and he's powerful and he's smart and he's a good negotiator. I think Kamala is weak and I think Israel's fucked.
So now would you risk...
That's just my opinion.
Would you now risk the fate of Israel and an American war, sending off tens of millions of American soldiers to go fight Iranians for these 60 hostages? Will you do that?
It's not about the 60
hostages. No, but you did. Because you said just give them back. That's all we're asking for.
No, what I'm saying is, Bronson, you're not listening to me because what I'm saying is we will cease fire. Okay, by the way,
but you said then the next month they'll just try some shit again.
But
we need to stop them from ever doing it.
Because when they come back,
that's what you said.
No, I understand, but if they give back the hostages, because of what was happening, there will be some serious sit down and peace treaty where the country will get involved.
But you said they're evil and they'll never stop.
But I think that Israel has been dealing with that for years, and they're going to have to deal with it. But I think that the first step right now is get back our hostages, and then we'll stop firing. Short of that, why negotiate with terrorists? I would never. You think about it. You think someone takes Hannah, and they fucking whatever. You don't even want to think what and then they're holding her, and you know she's alive, and they're gonna say, "Listen, you need to let's sit down and talk." You'd be like, "Are you fucking kidding me?" Not till I know my fucking fiance is safe under my roof, alive and well, and then we'll sit down and talk. Until then, I will kill you and everybody you know and everybody they know and so on until she comes back under my roof. That's just the way it is.
So would like if I got? I mean, it's very unfair to make it personal, like what I was just about to do.
But the Israelis, Bronny, it's personal to them.
I know, but it's not so personal as it's like this is my son.
But the way they did it, it's like they went and killed. The way they did it,
it's terrible.
They made it so personable. That's the problem.
Do you? My thing is, so do you risk tens of millions of deaths for that?
I don't
think so.
Okay,
I don't know.
Then back to square one, and we do have to wrap it up. But back to square one. What do you suggest? I don't know. I
gave suggestions. You either concede land, you concede power, you concede.
No, but there's a difference. They're asking for a ceasefire.
Okay. Wait, who?
So the America and Hamas is saying we want a ceasefire.
Okay.
To sit down and talk.
Hamas. So that's what they want, a ceasefire.
Listen, I'm saying before you get to the table, you can't even have a discussion. So we're saying we'll sit down with you. Give us back our people. It costs you nothing. Give us back our people. We have no problem. That's what they're asking for. They say no.
I don't think that's all they're asking
They
for.
say no.
Yeah.
Then what do you do, Bronson? I'm asking you as a person.
No, but yeah, I understand what you're asking.
My head at you. I'm just saying.
So if they say you want your hostages back to come to the table,
and they say no,
and then you say, okay, we'll all die. Like, is that the solution?
No, I'm asking.
No, I'm asking. Is that the solution?
Now,
I don't think so.
You're an Israeli, and you're in the Israeli government or the army, and they say no. What's your feelings?
Try to just get the hostages back, right?
They're trying.
Not bomb cities.
They're trying.
By bombing buildings? Is that how to? Because why would you bomb a building if your hostage is in there?
Not in there.
Right. So then why would you bomb the building? That's not getting
the hostage back. So you want them to walk in and do it?
I don't know. What do you mean? They did this pager scheme. They're clearly incapable.
I don't think there is a right answer.
Wait, they got like 15 hostages back by walking in. Like a month or two ago. They walked in. There was like 10 Israeli IDF soldiers. Walked in. Through intelligence, they knew where they were hiding them. They killed like 7 Hamas people that were protecting them. They brought those people back to Israel. And those people are alive now. That's right. So you said what? Do you want them to walk in? It's like yes.
No, they don't. Yeah. But they don't know where all the hostages are.
Why would
They don't know. They don't know where all the hostages are.
But let's say if
some of them are not even in that country anymore.
If there are hostages in Miami Beach, in someone's house, let's say one person's house, and 10 of them are sitting there, why would you? If your only goal is to get the hostages back, why would you bomb my apartment building in Brickell? Why would you?
It's not the same way.
No, but what? Because they're bombing just buildings, apartment buildings. You're not bombing the building if you're trying to get the hostages back. If you think the hostage is in there, because then you'd be killing them. So the only reason you're doing that is just be like, "Fuck you, give them back."
Strength.
No, but that's not a strategy. That's not a smart strategy.
Okay, we disagree.
Because they're not afraid because then they'd stop. Do you think that Israel?
There will be some point in war where someone's going to have to concede, and they're going to have to concede.
No, we're both are going to have to concede because that's what a war is.
No, but meaning one's going to have to give up first and raise the white flag.
Do you think that Israel has shown their strength well?
We're getting going.
Do you think that Israel has shown their strength?
I think so.
So then Hamas hasn't stopped one bit. So they're not afraid.
Okay, but Bronson, they're not afraid because we know they wouldn't have done what they did in October.
So then why do we keep needing to show
at some point someone has to get worn down? People start off tough, whatever, and someone loses a fight eventually. The two guys going to UFC fighting, the top or the best Olympians, both of them are not afraid, but someone either gets hit harder, knocked out, and gives up. That's what happens. That's what has wars been for hundreds and hundreds of years. I don't want anybody to die, but all they have to do is give the people back, and there'll be no more fucking damage. I'm saying if it was personable to me, like it is to the Israelis, okay, and the way it was done, and the horrific acts, and how they fucking brutalized, and what they did, Okay, well, Israel has hostages all the time. There's bombs all the time going back. They have the shelters. Nothing was heard of. Like this is unheard of the way this was done. This was horrific.
For modern warfare, yeah.
Okay, horrific. That's where we are now. We are in 2020 something.
But you view Hamas as a backwards, antiquated, right? They're not
They've
modern.
never done this before. This is horrific what they did. Okay?
No, they've done. What do you mean? They've never killed and raped Israelis? They've done that.
You understand what I'm trying to say, Bronny? Listen, you can oppose everything I'm saying.
No, I'm not opposing, but I disagree with that.
Okay, so you disagree. I don't agree with you either on that. That's all.
On what?
I mean, this was beyond horrific. This was one of the worst things that the Israelis experienced besides, okay, what
But
happened.
so should we now do beyond horrific stuff? Does that give us yes or no? Does that give us the justification to do beyond horrific stuff
It's a
back?
fight right now. We're not raping them.
I mean, there's no right or wrong answer.
We're not raping them.
But we're just
We're not putting
killing.
there in
We're just
ovens.
killing innocent people.
We're bombing with the strength we have, just like America has fucking strength, a strong army. If you fuck with us, just like this, I'm a third-degree black belt. I'm not a little Jewish nemesis guy. I carry a fucking gun. You fuck my family, I don't know if I'll win, but you'll never forget me.
Yeah, but if
So my point is,
guy-
there's strength. There has to be strength. You have,
but there has been strength that hasn't done shit.
No,
They haven't given up a single hostage. So the strength hasn't worked. No, but that's what I'm at.
You're wrong.
Why?
You're wrong because eventually it will.
Really? Why?
That's what happens in
It's been
war.
a year.
Okay, it might take 2 or 3 years. Eventually it will.
So just more and more people are going to die.
Unfortunately, until they give it back.
See, I just don't think that's the right.
So
way
then
to do
Israel
it.
should cease fire. To do what?
I don't know what the solution is.
What should Israel do?
I don't know. I'm not a military strategist.
But I'm asking you. But you're saying that's not. I don't think you should do it. So I'm asking, what is?
No, all I'm saying is, I don't think that that's a good idea because it's just going to make more Israelis dead.
Okay.
Why are you on the other side of that? You want more Israelis to die?
I don't want anyone to die.
Right, exactly.
But
So
we're in war right now. No, it's not so conclusive.
Yeah.
Give me a break. Okay.
it is.
Listen.
No, it's not
Bronny,
so conclusory. It's not easy. But the Israeli government isn't even considering an alternative to, as many Israelis need to die to stop this. And I think that if America was doing that, if America drafted up me, Bryce, and Burke, they did this to Vietnam. We had people were just getting sent over to Vietnam to get slaughtered
Bronson.
because the government wanted it.
Okay. We disagree. You're not going to convince me otherwise. You haven't given me any alternative suggestions to it other than Israel backs down. That's the only thing basically what you're saying. By deductive reason, you're saying to me Israel needs to back off. And I don't agree with that. I don't believe Israel should be the first one to back off. Where they started the fucking thing, what they did, they took our people in a horrific way and we say give it back. When they get back, things will happen.
Off. What is Hamas currently doing, really in Israel? Are Israeli citizens dying?
They have our fucking people.
Oh yeah, but that's already done. That's not backing off.
It's already done. Give them back, Bronson. I don't understand that. I can't even comprehend what you're saying.
I'm saying
I'm not trying to be difficult. It's so simple. You want Israel to back off first?
No, I'm not saying that.
So then what do they do? Hey,
I don't know.
buddy,
I don't know.
Do me a favor, release them. I'm not releasing them.
It's not okay that I don't know.
Wait, hear me out.
No, but you're saying you're not giving a solution. It's like, yes, I'm not.
What
I don't know.
I'll call you tomorrow. Let me.
I don't know,
something.
Dad. I don't know the solution.
Listen,
of course not.
I have a question.
If I knew the solution, I'd be there.
If someone fucked with my family or someone I care about, you do anything to make sure that you get them back,
including killing the rest of your family. That's the real thing. Would you, if someone killed me and you were going to go kill them and their people because they had me, would you take down everyone you also knew with you to do that? Would you?
No, but if they say, I'm going to kill your family, I say, you know what? The people I'm saying, well, I'm going to kill you first.
And then if you took down all of us with you.
Bronny. So then what do?
I don't know.
I bite my lip and
No.
be passive like what you're saying and say,
How am I saying be passive?
You killed my kid and now I'm worried about them. No. No.
When did I say to be passive?
Bronson,
Yeah.
if somebody killed your kid, you're saying, and that now the other side's threatening to kill your other family members. If you do something, I'm not a pussy like that. I'm sorry. I'll take the risk.
Okay, well,
I'll take the risk.
It's been a year of activity. So
Yes.
it's not like I'm saying, the day after it happens. Right. You're being unfair in that because you're saying, you're being passive. If someone kidnapped Hana, you would just let it happen. It's like, no. if someone kidnapped Hezbollah and I'm fighting for a year, killing all their people, fighting
And
for
then
a
what-
year,
and what do you do?
Still nothing's happened, then maybe I'd be like, okay, you know what? I need to reevaluate this. Doesn't Einstein say that if you do the same thing over and over again, expecting different results, you're insane?
Israel's very smart. They got great intelligence.
You said it was the only reason October 7th happened was because it was a massive intelligence failure.
Bronson,
right?
Can we listen? I'm getting annoyed. Can we stop with your little fucking excerpts of reading one sentence? You're a fucking avid reader. You read a whole story. Stop taking one. You're like the fucking media. You take one sentence and you make it. They're completely different. They got fucking lazy. That's a different story than what I'm talking about now. They're not stupid in their intelligence.
No.
People make mistakes. They're not stupid. We talked about.
They're definitely not stupid, but I think they're emotionally charged and they're not thinking rationally and logically.
I love you, buddy. Okay.
I think they're emotionally connected to this.
Maybe.
And so they're not thinking about it in the bigger picture.
Okay.
They're just like, we need to fucking get in there and kill everyone.
Okay.
And I think that might make Israel not exist in 10
I think
years.
there's a lot in between
Of course.
all the smart people. They're not saying, let's just go, I am tough guy, I want to kill and eat meat.
Yeah,
that's not what they're saying.
That's not what I said.
I bet there's a lot of in between where
sure
they
there is.
tried. There's a lot of people between America and Europe and other countries that have tried. I'm telling you, but until you give the hostage back, no fucking negotiations, period.
Another thing that
and I
none
want
of
to
us
really
said,
wrap this up, Ryan, because I
but
have to shower and eat dinner.
Another thing that none of us said, which is 100% true in this case, we're just blinded to it. When Russia and Ukraine happened, weren't we constantly saying America wants this because there's a lot of money to be made?
You said it. I don't know about it. I don't know enough about that. I don't know how that
the military-industrial complex.
We've
talked about that.
Yes,
idea.
we've talked about it, but that you've said
so
that.
why would I don't necessarily think that the Israeli government, Netanyahu, before this war started, remember we talked about this on the show too. There were massive protests in Israel against Netanyahu as the prime minister because he was changing all the laws in Israel and the people didn't like that. Massive protests. Now everyone's behind him because of this war. It's like
that's not everyone. That's not true. Not everyone's behind him. The country is bifurcated. There's a lot of people that support him.
Who's against him?
Listen, there's a lot of people that support him. There's a lot of people that don't support him.
Why? For what reasons?
They don't believe in his views and his values.
Who are these people? What groups?
The citizens of the country, just like we sit there, we don't
so
support
it's like,
Kamala.
What, like liberal people are against this war?
Okay.
No, I'm asking because you said
what I'm
a
saying
lot of
is-
people in Israel don't support him. I'm like, I
Yes,
actually don't agree with that.
Okay, there are a
From
lot
what
of-
I've
there-
seen, most people are behind this war.
From what I know, there are people that support him, and there are people that don't support him a lot.
And so the don't support, what do they want to be out of this war? What do they want? They don't want to be president?
I don't know
or prime
about the
minister?
war. They don't want him right. They don't want to be prime minister.
Why?
I don't have the deal. First of all,
But you claim that.
But look it up. That's 100% true. It's not that I claim. It's the truth. Just like this,
100% true. Why?
because of the shit I've seen.
What have you seen?
Okay, I'm not. I love you, Bronny. You're fucking. I love you, but you're out of fucking control. Love you. Bye, everybody. Take care. You're joking, right?
Well, I'm trying to be hopeful. I'm trying to be optimistic about that.
Well, I guess you're too young to be a little pessimistic like me.
The fucking things I see out there, people are stupid.